The Tibetan Babax is a bird species belonging to the family Liothrichidae. The Tibetan Babax is native to the Tibetan Plateau, primarily found in western China. It is considered endemic to this region, which means it is not naturally found anywhere else in the world. The bird prefers high-altitude habitats, typically ranging between 2,500 to 5,000 meters above sea level. Shrublands, alpine meadows, and areas with scattered bushes are its preferred environments. It is often found in juniper scrub or near patches of rhododendrons. The Tibetan Babax thrives in cold and arid climates, typical of the Tibetan Plateau. In some cases, it can also be found near human settlements or agricultural lands at these elevations. As an endemic species, the Tibetan Babax highlights the ecological richness of the Tibetan Plateau and the importance of preserving its unique habitats. Studying this bird helps understand the impact of environmental changes on high-altitude ecosystems. The Tibetan Babax has a subtle yet attractive plumage that blends well with its natural habitat. The overall plumage is warm brown tones dominate the body, giving it a muted but elegant appearance. The head typically has a slightly paler or rufous brown shade, sometimes with faint streaks. The back and wings are a darker brown, often with a hint of grey or black streaking, adding texture to the bird's appearance. The underparts are generally lighter, varying from buff to pale brown. It may have subtle facial streaking or patterns that help distinguish it from similar species. The tail feathers are long and brown, sometimes with faint barring or shading. The Tibetan Babax has a robust and slightly elongated build, characteristic of birds in the laughing thrush family. Size is medium-sized, with a length of about 24 to 27 centimeters, including its long tail. Its body is stocky and well-rounded, adapted for foraging on the ground and maneuvering through dense shrubs. The head is proportionally medium-sized with a slightly rounded shape, blending seamlessly into its neck. The beak is short, strong, and slightly curved, with a pale or horn-colored tone. The beak is well-suited for picking insects, seeds, and small berries. The wings are relatively short and rounded, reflecting its preference for short bursts of flight and ground-based movement rather than long-distance flying. Its legs and feet are sturdy and moderately long, with strong claws that enable it to walk and forage effectively in rugged, high-altitude terrain. The tail is long and slightly graduated, which aids in balance when hopping or climbing through shrubs and rocky landscapes. The Tibetan Babax exhibits flight behaviors that are closely tied to its habitat and lifestyle. Its flying tendencies reflect its adaptation to a ground-oriented and shrub-dwelling existence. The Tibetan Babax typically performs short, low flights between shrubs or rocks. These flights are direct and efficient, reflecting its preference for staying close to the ground. It relies on flight mainly as a means of escaping predators or moving between nearby foraging areas, rather than for long-distance travel. This limited use of flight is common among ground-dwelling birds. When startled, the Tibetan Babax can execute quick, strong takeoffs to evade threats, often flying into dense vegetation for cover. Its wings, though short and rounded, allow for rapid bursts of speed. During foraging, it uses its flight sparingly, preferring to hop or walk through its environment. Flights are typically reserved for reaching inaccessible areas or relocating to richer feeding grounds. Tibetan Babaxes are social birds often seen in small flocks or pairs. Their flights are sometimes coordinated, with individuals taking turns moving between shrubs or calling to each other to stay connected. Even when in flight, they stay close to the ground or vegetation, seldom venturing high into the air. This behavior minimizes energy expenditure and reduces visibility to predators. The Tibetan Babax is not known for high-speed flight, as it primarily relies on short, direct flights and ground-based movement. The Tibetan Babax likely achieves moderate speeds during its brief flights, sufficient for escaping predators or moving between shrubs. These bursts of speed are aided by its strong, rounded wings, which are built for quick takeoffs rather than sustained flight. On the ground, the bird is agile and quick, adept at hopping or running to navigate its shrub-filled, rocky habitat. Its speed on the ground is critical for foraging and avoiding danger in its dense, low-visibility environment. Like other members of the laughing thrush family, the Tibetan Babax prioritizes maneuverability and stealth over raw speed. Its adaptations emphasize survival in a high-altitude, scrubby ecosystem rather than long-distance or high-speed travel. The bird produces a variety of musical, flute-like whistles and chirps. The calls are typically repeated in a rhythmic sequence, creating a song-like quality. Tibetan Babaxes use soft chatter or short calls to communicate with their group members while foraging or moving through dense shrubs. These sounds help maintain contact in low-visibility environments. When threatened by predators or disturbances, they emit sharp, high-pitched alarm calls. These are quick and abrupt, signaling danger to other members of the group. Males often produce louder, more prominent songs during territorial disputes or breeding seasons to assert dominance and mark their presence. Like other laughing thrushes, the Tibetan Babax may incorporate variations in its vocalizations, possibly mimicking or improvising on sounds in its environment. The Tibetan Babax spends a significant amount of time on the ground, skillfully sifting through leaf litter, loose soil, and underbrush to uncover insects, larvae, and other invertebrates. Its strong legs and claws help it scratch the ground to expose hidden prey. Equipped with a short, sturdy, and slightly curved beak, the bird adept picks small prey, seeds, or berries. It uses its beak to probe crevices in rocks or shrubs where insects might be hiding. In addition to ground foraging, the Tibetan Babax actively searches shrubs and low vegetation for food. This includes plucking insects, berries, or seeds directly from plants. The bird often forages in small groups, which helps it cover a larger area efficiently. This social behavior may also provide safety from predators while foraging. The primary source of protein in their diet comes from beetles, ants, caterpillars, and other small invertebrates. It may consume insect larvae and eggs, particularly during the breeding season when protein needs increase. Seeds of grasses and shrubs are an important part of its diet, especially in seasons when insects are scarce. Small berries from shrubs in its high-altitude habitat provide energy-rich food. Occasionally, it may consume tender shoots or other vegetation. In warmer months, the Tibetan Babax leans heavily on insects and other invertebrates as they become more abundant. During colder months, when insects are scarce, its diet shifts more toward seeds, berries, and other plant-based foods. Tibetan Babaxes build their nests in shrubs, low trees, or dense vegetation, usually close to the ground. The chosen location is often in a secluded area, providing protection from predators and harsh weather. The nests are cup-shaped and constructed using materials like twigs, grass, roots, moss, and feathers. Both the male and female may participate in nest building, demonstrating cooperative behavior. The breeding season typically occurs during the spring and summer months, April to July, coinciding with warmer temperatures and greater food availability on the Tibetan Plateau. Males are known to use their melodious songs to attract females and establish territory. Courtship may involve displays of vocalizations, posturing, or even food sharing between the pair. The female typically lays 2 to 5 eggs per clutch, which are pale blue or greenish with subtle markings. The eggs are incubated for approximately 12 to 15 days, primarily by the female, although the male may occasionally assist. During this period, the male often helps by bringing food to the female. The chicks hatch altricial, blind and helpless, and require constant care and feeding. Both parents are actively involved in feeding the chicks a diet rich in insects to ensure rapid growth. The chicks leave the nest after 15 to 20 days, but they may continue to rely on their parents for food and protection for a few weeks post-fledging. The Tibetan Babax is known for its strong parental care, ensuring high survival rates for its young in a challenging environment. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for even more viewing pleasure. Don't forget, like and comment. Feel free to share.